Hello everyone and welcome into today's episode of UnGrounded. Today we'll be continuing to work on our little goodie baskets for the rest of the members. We'll be setting up the zipline hub for a little more integrity, sending it off to almost every base in the server currently, and also doing some little progresses on the base, all in one nice little time lapse to kick off the video. If you would, here at the top of the video, consider liking and subscribing. This video was over 4 hours of footage I had to go through, and the next one is over 15 hours of footage. So I put a lot of hard work into these videos, and I would really appreciate it if you could stick around for the entirety of the series, UnGrounded. But before we get too far into the video, there are some things I want to touch on from previous episodes. If you haven't seen it, last episode we have killed the assistant manager, giving us access to not only the zipper, but also the assistant manager's keycard, which means we also have a bunch of different places to go and auxiliary chips to grab for burgles. So if you see some of that footage in the upcoming time lapse, that's why. But without further ado, here is the time lapse for episode number 5. And here we are, on our way to help out Draconic, one of our members, do the first mixer of the game. Now, since he is in the sandbox, of course, it does signify we are doing the Antlion one first, even though it's not exactly intended to be the first one in the series. But it's okay, it's alright, because luckily we have HandyNet on the server who can go ahead and fly over and help him out even in the hostile sandpit where he can't really get any resources to build defenses around the mixers. Now, these events are extremely important, not just for the whole server, but for Draconic specifically, because there is a weapon that you need to do all of these mixers to get. But also, it will benefit the entire server by giving us the guard dog mutation, allowing us to do better at the final defense. It will also give us a ton of raw science, which will allow us to continue to purchase things from Burglar's Shop, even as they get more and more expensive and more worthless when we get into things like the sign sets and things of that nature. But that's not all the work I've done this episode, so let's hop back into the time lapse real quick. family hasn't seen me for days, but I still need more shrooms.
When the urge grows too much.
You need help, my guy. And help he does in fact need. See, who I was talking with was Draconic, one of our members. I already mentioned him earlier in the video, but we're talking right now about mushroom bricks, which he has fostered quite the unhealthy obsession with over the past couple of sessions in game. See, what he plans on building in the coming days is a giant castle, which is honestly larger than anything anybody should attempt in this game, and as you already saw, is a little bit concerning for his own mental health. But nevertheless, he decided it would be a cool idea to go ahead and do that, and we'll of course be seeing more of that journey through the future. But today we have one last major point to go through with, which is, of course, the Broodmother fight. Now, if you're a member of UnGrounded and are a bit betrayed because we did not notify you for this fight, I was, in fact, not notified for this fight by Draconic, who ended up doing it. And I was also a very last-minute participant, but luckily I was there and I was able to record what happened. Of course, he didn't even want me included, so I kind of had to catch up with him very last minute so I could actually get into the Broodmother arena and do the first ever Broodmother fight. You know, it's kind of crazy, but there's like an entire section of the upper yard I still have never been to. I probably should go.
Where?
The place right of Castle Muldark. Right by the hedge.
There's like 2 Blackhawks beetles and there's 2 Blackhawks.
Now, at this point, I think it's pretty important to state that he did not yet know I was joining him for the Broodmother fight. He had been talking about doing it for almost the whole session, and whenever I saw him walking over to the hedge after we had already got the Broodmother BLT, I knew I had to jump in now. He won't actually know I'm coming to help him until I actually see him on the disc right next to the arena. So let's cut to that real quick.
Hi.
Ah. Isn't it crazy to think that he did not notice my presence until just that point? And he plays in third person, unlike me, who likes the first person experience. But without further ado, it is in fact time to take on the Hedge Broodmother. And just like that, the Hedge Broodmother falls for the very first time, as you can see by Mom Jeans, and the terminally ill Draconic, who I do have to pick up after the fight is over, and I wasn't looking too good myself, but luckily I had a couple heals on me. But with that, it kind of marks a new chapter for us, because we do, of course, have the first boss under our belt. Of course, I said the assistant manager was the first boss, but does that even really count? So, of course, we do have now Mom Jeans, a mutation that's extremely useful if we want to play Summoner, but of course, none of us that are currently on the world are playing it. But as you can see here, we're jumping right back into the Broodmother fight, actually for a couple more times, because of course my friend Draconic wants to craft the full armor set, which of course I was more than happy to help him out with, so I could get you guys more of this upcoming footage. Just like that, the Hedge Broodmother falls for a second time. Now, we do fell her a handful more times to, of course, grind for some more chunks, and we will continue to kill her in times in the future, specifically Draconic on his own, as I oftentimes am offline while he's playing. He will, of course, fell the Broodmother a couple more times to get the full armor set. And coming up here, I will do it by myself, because Draconic is going for dinner at the time. But of course, I won't bore you with another Broodmother fight. Instead, let's just cut to the end of the video. And here we are. We finally felled the Broodmother a grand total of 4 times before leaving. And our resources are all very, very deplenished. We, of course, ran out of most types of healing. So it is time to call it quits for today, and also call it almost the end of the video. If you made it this far in the video, I do thank you. If you want to check out the rest of the episodes, there will be an entire playlist in the end screen. And if you made it back here at the end of the video, why don't you consider giving us a like and subscribe? We put a lot of work into these videos, not just me, but every single member of this server. And with that, this has been episode 5 of UnGrounded.